Every war today runs on silicon. The most powerful weapon fits in your hand. Every war today runs on silicon. If Taiwan stops shipping chips, the entire world goes completely dark. A global national emergency was declared. Not for oil, but for chips. Two massive global superpowers today. One massive global choke point today, controlling the modern world today. One choke point controlling the modern world. Inside every weapon and machine, the same battlefield, a chip. From one transistor to billions, technology rewrote power itself forever. One single global technology company, one machine controlling the future. One single machine controlling our future. One company became indispensable forever. And the world became dependent. Modern military warfare is completely impossible today. Without the power of semiconductors. China spends billions of dollars today. To desperately end its dependency today. One missing chip could ground an entire air force. Can ground an entire air force. Even submarines depend on chips. And supplies are running thin. A shadow economy emerged in secret. The global chip black market. When chips finally run out, all military power completely collapses. Every single precision military strike. Is a massive semiconductor victory. Officials debate the global dependency risks. Global military power is growing. Power is growing exponentially fast, but the chip gap remains. The chip gap still remains wide. One single conflict in Taiwan, a single conflict in Taiwan could end it all, could easily stop human civilization. One mistake could stop the world entirely. Backup factories are currently rising. Backup factories are rising in the desert, but time is running out. Neutral nations became gateways today. For the world's most valuable cargo today. Civilization now depends on one thing. Civilization now depends on exactly one thing. The silicon microchip we use today. A machine is making decisions. Diplomacy that took months now takes milliseconds. Diplomacy used to be about conversation. Now, diplomacy is a matter of calculation. The traditional handshake still happens today. But the outcome was predicted long before the meeting ever began. Companies now know more than governments. And they sell that knowledge to heads of state. Before the president even lands on foreign soil, the algorithm already knows who will bend. Protests don't start in streets. They start deep inside complex algorithms. The new diplomats hold no titles. They hold access to prediction engines. The first test was not a conventional war. It was an election that changed everything. The first strike isn't a missile. It is a line of code. It's a line of code. The machine now guards the high-stakes nuclear button. Before a human picks up the phone, the crisis was predicted months before the world ever saw it. But prediction alone did not save any lives. Critical infrastructure collapsed in just minutes. The attack on the power grid was immediate and absolute. The speed of the attack was beyond anything we had ever seen. No diplomat saw it coming. Cut the cables and the world goes silent. And the world goes silent. And the world goes silent. The war predicted as unlikely has now officially begun. Leaders find themselves in a state of controlled panic. The conflict has officially begun. Diplomats are now racing against an invisible clock. In the end, the algorithm failed. And reality moved faster than data. Markets across the globe crashed in just seconds. The machines moved first, and the humans could only watch, because the algorithm moved first. Investors watched in silence as the models predicted a complete collapse. Governments tried to regulate it. Contracts were signed in the shadows, far from public scrutiny. The news could not break fast enough to keep up with the data. Washington remained lit, but the power had already shifted. The old world is still here. The hallways of power were empty, but the servers were humming. A global order that felt solid was actually incredibly fragile. The weight of the decision was visible in every calculation. Every screen told the same story of a world in transition. As the sun rose, the world woke up to a new reality. The world is still turning, but the people turning it have changed. Not elected, not visible, only computable. The future is no longer a conversation, it is a probability curve. Every branch of intelligence is now unified by a single algorithm. The machine has finally learned how to govern the world. Every war fought today that runs on silicon. Not bullets, not bombs. The most powerful weapon on Earth fits in the palm of your hand, and only one place in the world can build it. Taiwan produces 92% of the world's most advanced chips. If that island falls or simply stops shipping, every military, every economy, every hospital on Earth, the world goes dark within 18 months. Washington declared a national emergency, not for oil, not for gold. It was a declaration made specifically for chips. A race no army can win with tanks. Only fabs can win it. Taiwan produces 92% of the world's most advanced chips. One critical choke point remains, and it's located in the Taiwan Strait. The entire modern world, military, economic, digital, balanced on a wafer thinner than a human hair. Low-angle shot looking up at a crowd of engineers in Seoul as news of the export ban breaks. Inside every Chinese hypersonic missile, inside every American stealth jet, the same battlefield, a chip the size of a fingernail. It began with a single transistor in a New Jersey laboratory. 70 years later, a single chip holds 80 billion. From curiosity to civilization's foundation, the semiconductor rewrote what power means. For decades, everyone outsourced the hard work. Why build when you can buy? It was the most efficient decision in history, and it was the most dangerous decision of all. There is one Dutch company, one machine no one else on Earth can build. Without it, no 3 nm on a chip, no advanced AI, no modern weapon. The Netherlands quietly controls the future. In 2023, the Netherlands banned ASML exports to China. Not because Europe wanted to, because Washington made the call, and the Dutch had no choice but to comply. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the heart of the industry. The single most strategically important company in human history. One earthquake, one blockade, one missile. And every chip-dependent nation enters a new dark age. Modern warfare without semiconductors is simply impossible. The F-35 runs on 8 million lines of code. A single Tomahawk cruise missile, over 500 custom chips. Every trigger pull now begins in a clean room. China spends more on chip imports than oil. Every year, $400 billion just to keep its military and economy running. The dependency is total. It is an absolute strategic vulnerability. And Beijing knows it must end. They are racing to catch up. When Washington blacklisted Huawei in 2019, the world watched closely. It expected collapse. Instead, something very different happened. Instead, China accelerated. The pace of development quickened. The enemy learned exactly where it bled. The strategy had to shift. South Korea builds chips 2 hours drive from nuclear warheads. The world's memory runs from a peninsula, a fragile industrial hub, where war never officially ended. The tension is constant. The stakes have always been existential, life or death on a silicon scale. Every major power now asks the same question. Are we safe? Can we survive if the chips stop coming? The answer remains uncertain. For most, the answer is no. A total systemic failure would follow. Which is why the answer must change. The time for independence is now. Autonomous warfare demands chips by the billions. A new age of combat. AI targeting, swarm coordination, battlefield data networks are key. The Pentagon's modernization plan is, at its core, a chip plan. Every upgrade is a supply chain vulnerability, a weakness in the chain. America once led the world. It was the undisputed silicon champion. Then it chose profit over production. The focus shifted away from home. Now it races to rebuild what took decades to dismantle, a massive effort. And the clock is running. Time is the one thing they cannot buy. Europe has the markets, the talent, the capital. What it lacks is urgency. The process is slow and costly. The European Chips Act promises 20% of global production by 2030. Current reality, under 10%, a daunting challenge for the continent. India enters the race late, but its ambition is global. But with 600 million people under 30 and Western investment flooding in, New Delhi is no longer just buying chips. It intends to build them. A new frontier for silicon leadership. Japan once owned 50% of global chip market. Then the US forced it to surrender that lead. Now Washington needs Japan back. History repeats, but this time the alliance is mutual. Japan atop the world, then a cut to an empty factory floor. A minister draws a rising line on a whiteboard under the heading Semiconductor Sovereignty 2030. Taiwan is not defended by its military alone. It is defended by its indispensability. Every nation that needs chips needs Taiwan alive. Engineers debug a 3nm process node, world-defining precision, geopolitical weight invisible here. The silicon shield is real, and it is fragile, just 180 kilometers away. The F-35 needs 3,000 unique chip types, a marvel of engineering. Over 300 are single-source, made by one supplier. In wartime, one export ban could ground the entire fleet. The chain is that vulnerable. The enemy doesn't need to shoot down the jet, just cut the supply chain. Even submarines, silent, deep, hidden, are only as powerful as their supply chain. Pentagon planners now war game scenarios with one premise. What happens when the chips run out? Pentagon planners now war game scenarios with one premise. What happens when the chips run out? NVIDIA became the world's most valuable company. Undisputed. Engineers cluster around massive rendering workstations. Billions of transistors mapped out. With a chip no enemy nation can manufacture. The GPU is the new nuclear reactor. $1 billion black market has emerged, smuggling chips through shadow networks. Restricted chips smuggled through Dubai, Singapore, Turkey. The chase is on. The trade war has a shadow economy, and governments are losing the battle to contain it. Russia entered Ukraine with the fourth largest military on Earth and ran out of chips, and ran out of precision-guided chips within months. Its answer, washing machine circuits and guided bombs. This is what a semiconductor-starved military looks like. Every year, $400 billion just to keep its military and economy running. The dependency is total. Every coordinate is a calculation. And Beijing knows it must end. They are watching every precision hit. Every precision hit, every intercepted missile is a semiconductor victory. The Department of Defense has named it the single greatest strategic vulnerability. The single greatest strategic vulnerability in American military history. Not nukes. Not nukes, not cyber, just the fundamental building block of the modern world. Chips, the word that keeps Pentagon planners awake at night. China's military power is real, enormous, and growing. But gaps remain. But under its surface, a semiconductor gap, precision that America takes for granted is still beyond Beijing's capability. Chip capability. The gap is real. Every war game in every capital ends the same way. A Taiwan conflict doesn't just cost lives, it ends the chip supply. And without chips, civilization as we know it stops. And without chips, civilization as we know it stops. The lights go out. TSMC builds in Arizona, Japan, Germany, a global backup plan. Not because it wants to, but because it has to protect the future. Because every government that depends on it is watching. Demanded insurance, a safeguard for the global economy. South Korea builds the chips that arm both sides. Its memory goes to Chinese phones, its logic goes to American missiles. Seoul has no safe position, only profitable ones. The stakes are high. Singapore sits at the center of the chip black market, a neutral ground. Knowingly and unknowingly, every route is tracked and monitored. Its neutrality is both its greatest asset and its greatest liability, the choke point of global electronics. 70 years from one transistor to civilization's dependency. The chip is not just technology. Rainbow interference patterns on silicon, a work of art that runs the world. And the axis is trembling. The future hangs in the balance. The invisible war has no battlefields, no uniforms, no flags raised. A chip being made. Precision at the nanoscale level. A jet being launched. A city powering on, all connected, all dependent. A war room calculating the next move. All vulnerable in the silent war. Welcome to the most important conflict in modern history. The Silicon War. The invisible war has no battlefields, no uniforms, no flags raised, just silicon. The decision was made quietly, in export control databases, not declarations of war. But the effect was the same. Two technological civilizations pulling apart at the seams. China threw $1 trillion at the problem, built the factories, hired the engineers, and still cannot make a chip that matches what Taiwan makes today. Because money cannot buy 20 years of compounded knowledge, Washington forged a new kind of alliance. No military bases, no nuclear sharing, just a coordinated promise. Just a coordinated promise. China will not get the chips. China will not get the chips. China broke into memory chips. Then Washington moved the goalposts. Not just chips, now the chemicals to make chips. The tools to make the tools to make chips. ASML makes the only machine that can print tomorrow's chips. One machine, one company, one leverage point. When it was denied to China, the word denied in red, and with it, China's path to 7mm chips closed for years. You've never heard of them. But without Lam Research, Applied Materials, and KLA, no advanced chip can be made anywhere on Earth. America controls the machines that make the machines. Chips begin as ideas. Ideas live in universities, labs, and engineers' minds. Ideas live in universities, labs, and engineers' minds. The second front of the chip war is not in fabs. It is in classrooms and immigration offices. South Korea does not want this war. Its largest customer is China. Its largest security guarantor is America. And both are asking the same thing: choose. Japan's chip humiliation lasted 30 years. Now it plays host to the world's most important chip maker. And quietly, from automotive silicon, Japan never actually left the game. When America cut China's chip supply, China cut America's chip chemistry. Gallium, germanium, antimony, materials that make advanced chips possible, and China controls 80% of them. Materials that make advanced chips possible, and China controls 80% of them. The chip supply chain begins not in fabs, but in mines. And the mines are in places where governance is fragile. And the mines are in places where governance is fragile. The mines are in places where governance is fragile or controlled by China. The West is 10 years behind on critical minerals. The West is 10 years behind on critical minerals. The chip war cannot be won without the materials. Without the materials that make chips possible. And those materials are still largely in Beijing's hands. Military posturing in the Pacific is not about Taiwan's democracy alone. It is about who controls the fabs. Military posturing in the Pacific is not about Taiwan's democracy alone. It is about who controls the fabs. Every missile battery in the Luzon Strait defends a semiconductor production line. TSMC cannot be moved easily. It took 30 years to build the ecosystem that surrounds it. Suppliers, talent, water systems, power grids is the one that will determine military supremacy for 50 years. The chip war is also a climate war. Fabs need water the size of cities. Power the scale of nations. And both are becoming weapons in themselves. Every chip you touch required the energy of a small city to create. Power is not a utility for chip fabs. It is a geopolitical prerequisite, and it is no longer guaranteed. Both sides watch each other's fabs from space. Every expansion, every equipment delivery, every power surge, the first intelligence battlefield of the chip war is 400 kilometers above it. The fabs can be blocked. The export's restricted, but chip blueprints live in servers. And servers can be compromised from anywhere on Earth. A single EUV machine has 457,000 parts. Built across 40 nations, ultra-precision optics for tomorrow's chips. If any single link breaks, the machine cannot be made. Taiwan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic zones. If nature does what geopolitics cannot, the chip supply ends anyway. The US Army is betting its future on AI. AI runs on NVIDIA chips, processing tactical data in real time. NVIDIA chips are made at TSMC. The entire strategy depends on an island 12,000 kilometers away. China is not waiting. It is building around the blockade. Older process nodes, domestic materials, alternative architectures. The gap is narrowing, just not fast enough, yet $52 billion American taxpayer money. To rebuild an industry America chose to abandon, the CHIPS Act is not industrial policy. It is a national security emergency measure. America still has companies. What it lacks is capacity, but $200 billion committed in 3 years buys a lot of urgency. The West has finally agreed on something. Chips are the new oil. And like oil in 1973, supply disruption means civilizational crisis. The world has never split like this. Its largest customer is China. Its largest security guarantor is America. Its largest customer is China. Its largest security guarantor is America. Even packaging matters. Even the wire bonding step. Even the testing. Every stage of the supply chain is now a geopolitical lever. The chip war extends to chemistry, to materials science, to fluid dynamics and optical physics. To materials science, to fluid dynamics and optical physics. 90% of the world's chip photoresist comes from Japan. Every layer of the stack is a battlefield. The chip war extends to chemistry, to materials science, to fluid dynamics and optical physics. Every layer of the stack is a battlefield. But over a chip smaller than a fingernail, the planet is dividing in two. By 2030, two separate semiconductor ecosystems will exist. Interoperability zero, mutual dependency eliminated. While China rehearsed the blockade, TSMC didn't miss a single production target. Because stopping is surrender, and Taiwan has no intention of surrendering. The public chip war is the visible one. The classified chip war, in DARPA labs and national foundries, in chip geopolitics, Israel is indispensable and knows it. America stockpiles oil, gold, grain, now it stockpiles chips. Because the defense analysts who matter have gamed every scenario and reached one conclusion. Chips run out before the war ends. The world is dividing. Choose your side. The chip war is reshaping where everything is made. Not just chips, but the factories, the universities, the cities that grow around chips. The chip war is reshaping where everything is made. Not just chips, but the factories, the universities, the cities that grow around chips. The invisible currency, the architecture of power. Everything you touch, everything you know, all depends on this fingernail of silicon. Israel's chip industry is also its defense industry. Intel Haifa designed the Centrino architecture. Israel's chip industry is also its defense industry. Intel Haifa designed the Centrino architecture and builds AI chips now critical for American AI infrastructure. In chip geopolitics, Israel is indispensable and knows it. The alliance extended to silicon, the new order of war. But they determine whether China's chips can ever speak to Western systems again. Single points of failure terrifying. Interdependence of the global network. The invisible crown, the weight of empires. The escape route is being built, in the open, for everyone. The classified chip war in DARPA labs is the one that will determine military supremacy for 50 years. The reckoning begins. Part 3, Weapons of Silicon, coming soon. The world has never split like this. Not over oil, not over ideology, but over a chip smaller than a fingernail, the planet is dividing in two. The future of war has already arrived. It flies at 120 knots, weighs 500 grams, a terrifying precision swarm coordinated by AI chips, and contains more computing power than Apollo 11. It's a miniature war of chips. Ukraine became the world's first drone-defined war, and the drones run on Western chips, consumer-grade but lethal. They are found in both armies, Western-made chips in a Russian weapon. The chip war has no clean sides. Provenance is everything. Hypersonic missiles are not a speed problem. They are a chip problem. They are a chip problem. They are a chip problem. Can silicon survive the conditions? The nation that solves it first wins. The war is on. Satellites are chip platforms in orbit. Aboard, custom-built radiation-hardened chips. When Starlink showed up over Ukraine, Russia had no counter. Space supremacy is semiconductor supremacy. Readable license plates from orbit. Space supremacy is semiconductor supremacy. Starlink changed the game. The chip decides faster than the human can think. That speed is the military advantage. Military lawyers, ethicists, and engineers debate the legality of AI kill decisions. The models consuming petabytes, the intelligence that will command future wars. This is the most dangerous intelligence humanity has ever built. North Korea has no chip industry, but it has missiles. Guidance systems are cobbled together. The rogue state has no industry, but it has lethal missiles. Because someone always finds a way to move the chips. Export controls are not walls, they are speed bumps. Iran builds drones with smuggled chips, ambitions underground. Israel defends with chips that cannot be smuggled. Supply chain of defiance. In the skies over the Middle East, every engagement is a semiconductor contest. Every engagement is a semiconductor contest. Chip meeting chip at 300 meters per second. The weapon that defeats all chips costs far less than the chips it destroys. This specialized hardening costs far less than the chips it destroys. The most chip-dense nations are the most vulnerable to EMP. Every node a target. Entire fleets could be disabled by one detonation. Hardening is the final defense. You cannot shoot a chip backdoor. You cannot see it on an X-ray. The most dangerous cyber weapon in existence is not code, it is hardware. The most dangerous cyber weapon in existence is not code, it is hardware. The hunt for hardware backdoors built into the silicon itself. America wages digital war on enemy chip infrastructure. Stuxnet destroyed Iranian centrifuges with code. Fabs are next. A sabotaged process controller, $1 billion of wafers, ruined. The paranoia of hardware trust is now part of fab operation. A new autonomous underwater vehicle launches from the sub's torpedo tube, silent and guided. A crew member marks an anomaly, a stationary vessel above a major cable junction. Undersea cables cut in the Baltic, the sabotage too precise to be accidental. America's nuclear arsenal depends on chips, radiation-hardened, decades old. Engineers developing logic chips for Minuteman III, the fab that made them closed in 1989. Legacy military chips in hermetically sealed packages, irreplaceable and essential. Timeline, urgent. Risk of inaction, existential. The world's most powerful weapons are waiting. Quantum computers run on quantum chips, a machine that could crack any encryption. A paradigm shift in computation, 200 seconds for a 10,000-year problem. Every encrypted military secret in the world becomes readable by anyone with the machine. The transistor will not rule forever. Europe's play for the future. The Loihi chip running continuous learning algorithms at power levels impossible for conventional silicon. Chips that use light instead of electricity, operating at the speed of photons. Low buildings, heavily guarded, operations against Western chip supply chain information. Investigators reconstruct a supply chain intrusion, detecting the undetectable hardware. Can any chip be fully trusted? Trust is the scarcest resource in the chip war. Semiconductor vulnerability represents the single most significant constraint on U.S. military operations. Pine Gap Intelligence Facility visible from above, antennae covering the desert, high-tech and remote. American, British, and Australian officials review chip integration requirements for shared silicon. Australia building its own defense chip capability for the first time, ruggedized for submarines. The conversation about submarines is also a conversation about chip sovereignty, multi-decade commitment. Underground, mountainside, granite protected, hardened against everything except a direct nuclear strike. Operators track Chinese ballistic missile trajectories, Patriot and THAAD systems guiding interceptors. Xiongfeng III anti-ship missile, its guidance chip made domestically. Deterrence in silicon, a standoff measured in milliseconds and megahertz. Both shores illuminated, radar active. A single high-altitude EMP detonation over Taiwan, and every chip in the island stops. Engineers work urgently on chip shielding that survives the new EMP yield. The race is on. Every node an EMP target, the fragility of modern civilization visible in one room. Operators manage chip-controlled substations, the civilizational cascade from a chip crisis. The answer to the drone chip war is a weapon that doesn't use chips to win. Directed energy, high-power microwave turret rotating, a chip defeats a chip. The future of defense is the anti-chip weapon, less than $1 per kill. America has wargamed this 100 times. Semiconductor dependency is existential. Conclusion never changes. GDP loss, $2.5 trillion globally from disruption. Senators grill officials on stockpile levels. The solutions all require time America may not have. The president faces the decision, accelerate or accept dependency. No good answer. China's PLA is not waiting for better chips. Military-civil fusion visible in steel and concrete. Designing tactics for the chips it has. The gap with NVIDIA closing in military tasks. Asymmetric warfare, mass and attrition. The logistics of future war being perfected. Unmanned ground vehicles and drone swarms operating together. The test of modernization. Russia shows what a chip-sanctioned military becomes. Disassembling appliances for parts. Dangerous but degraded. Capable but constrained, the semiconductor embargo works. The full geometry of the semiconductor world war spanning the entire globe.